Kevin Harvick has never been shy about telling NASCAR what it does wrong. So when he opened up about the sport's biggest headache this week, most fans expected another round of complaints. That is not what happened. Harvick used 4 words to describe what NASCAR just did. 4 words that say more about the state of this sport than any long rant ever could. And once he explained the math behind one small rule change, the reaction got loud. Because this is not really about one caution flag. It is about how much time fans have been losing, why Indianapolis pushed things over the edge, and what NASCAR is quietly lining up next. Let us get into it. The new stage break rule showed up for the first time at Iowa Speedway. The idea is simple. If a natural caution comes out with 10 laps or fewer left in Stage 1 or Stage 2, that caution ends the stage right there. The stage is over. It counts. It is official. NASCAR does not throw a second yellow flag later for the scheduled break. On the broadcast, the moment got called out as it happened. Caution coming out with 10 to go. That is the rightful end of the stage. It is deemed official. The rule now applies across NASCAR's National Series. Stage points still count. Stage racing does not go away. The only thing that goes away is that extra caution. To understand why this matters, go back to Indianapolis. The Brickyard 400 had long yellow flag periods around the stage breaks. Cars circled. The clock kept running. Fans watched a race that kept stopping. It was not the wrecks that hurt. It was the waiting. 2 very long caution periods in one afternoon can drain the energy out of a crowd, out of a television broadcast, and out of the drivers strapped into those cars. Harvick pointed right at it. He said the time spent under caution during those 2 periods simply cannot happen again. Then came the part people latched onto. We've got to address problems. We've got to fix problems. And when we have an issue, like we've talked about with the caution flags and everything, the time that it takes, they got aggressive. And that's old NASCAR to me. Old NASCAR to me. Those are the 4 words. Coming from a champion who raced in that era, that is about the highest praise he can hand out. Harvick did not stop at praise. He broke down what this change actually saves. Eliminating a second caution at that stage break, and the rule that they implemented with the 10-lap rule and just ending the stage, having 1 caution instead of 2 cautions. I mean, that right there just eliminates half the caution time that you were going to have. Half. Cut in half. 1 caution instead of 2. There is a second benefit, and it may matter even more. Every restart carries risk. Cars bunch up. Tempers rise. Somebody gets loose. Harvick said this rule takes that risk off the table. It also eliminates the probability of another restart and a quick caution with a wreck like we saw at Indy. So the sport saves time, and it saves race cars. Fewer restarts means fewer torn-up fenders and fewer good teams sent home early. Harvick also gave a look behind the curtain. He has spent time talking with Steve O'Donnell, one of the top decision-makers at NASCAR. He said the mood inside the sport right now is different. That's the feeling that I get talking to Steve. We want to address every single problem head-on and be honest about how we got there and how we're going to fix it. Being honest about how we got there. That is a large thing for any sport to say out loud. So I love the aggressiveness of trying to fix these problems and listening to the fans. Here is another point that is easy to miss. NASCAR made this move in the middle of the season, not in the winter, not at some rules meeting months from now. Harvick said other leagues do not work that way. They spot a problem, they admit it is a problem, and then they park it until the offseason. NASCAR refused to park it. He said he is glad the fans feel heard. The drivers feel heard. The teams feel heard. He called it good for everybody and good for the overall product. There is one more layer to this. Harvick said the rule adds a small wrinkle to strategy. Think about it from a crew chief's seat. A caution comes out with 9 laps left in a stage. Under the old way, you planned around 2 yellow flags. Now you only get 1. The stage ends early. Your fuel window moves. Your tire plan moves. The shape of the entire next run changes. And this stage break rule is not sitting by itself. Stack up everything NASCAR has done in a short window. There are the new front bumpers on the short tracks. There is a new super speedway package coming for Daytona in about 3 weeks. There is the horsepower bump and the simple diffuser that arrived at the start of this season. Harvick brought up Iowa as a good example of that. He said Iowa is a tough place to handle with a low downforce package and more power this year than last year. 3 big changes in a very short amount of time. Then the talk moved to next season, and Harvick lit up. The Clash is going back to Daytona in 2027. He loves that one. I love the fact that we're going to be there for a longer period of time to promote the biggest race of the year. His reason is smart. Right now, there is an off week sitting between the Clash and the Daytona 500. Put both at Daytona and the sport gets a real speedwix again. Race on Saturday, race on Sunday, media day in the same place, no dead air in between. He wants more than that, though. He wants the old fan energy back. I hope we have a draw party. I hope we can bring the random draw back to qualifying, have a draw party for the Clash and for the starting positions, and get back to those things where we can involve the fans, have a TV broadcast, and make it so that we have more engagement for a longer period of time like we used to. Iowa also picks up 4th of July weekend, and Harvick did his homework on that one. He asked people in Iowa straight out if it would actually be cool. Their answer was that they put on some of the best fireworks shows in the Midwest and in the entire country. The change he sounded most excited about was New Hampshire. That fall date is coming back inside the playoffs. That was a race that I grew up going to all the time, and that time of the year is really good. It's foliage time, and it looks really, really cool there. And then there is Bristol. The night race is heading back to its traditional summer spot on the calendar, right where longtime fans always wanted it. I love the fact that Bristol is back to its traditional summer date to where we don't have to deal with Tennessee football. That is a real problem being solved. Bristol sits in the middle of football country. Fighting a college football Saturday for attention was never a fair fight. So put the whole picture together. NASCAR looked at a broken caution process and fixed it during the season. It changed bumpers. It changed the superspeedway package. It changed horsepower, and it is reshaping the schedule for 2027 around fan energy instead of habit. None of it is guaranteed to work. The stage break rule still has to prove itself over a full stretch of races. Some fans will say cutting one caution does not fix the deeper flow problems in a cup race. Others will say this is the most responsive NASCAR has looked in years. What is not in doubt is the direction. For a long time, the complaint was that NASCAR heard the noise and did nothing. This summer, the sport moved fast. Harvick noticed, and he said so out loud. Next up is Richmond on Saturday night, a short track, a tight technical place that looks simple and is anything but, and it comes with 3 races left before the playoff field gets locked in. So tell me what you think. Does cutting one caution out of a stage break really fix the flow of a NASCAR race, or is it a small patch on a much bigger problem? And which 2027 schedule change are you most excited about? Richmond is the real test. Short tracks bring cautions. That is just how it works. Fenders get rubbed, tempers get short, and the yellow flag comes out more often there than it does almost anywhere else on the schedule. So this new stage break rule could get used more than once on Saturday night. If it works, Harvick looks right, and NASCAR looks like a sport that finally listens and moves. If it creates a mess, the same fans who cheered the change will be the first ones to say so. Either way, we will not have to wait long to find out.